Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the men's room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the men's room.
Hey, away we go. Welcome to show number 2868. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, Robin Fox, and my cock. That's it. All right, in the men's room. On tap today, the random question is back. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories: hot dogs and hamburgers. The word has more American slang. Get ready to play Profile This. Plus headlines, a men's room shot of the day, funnable listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted. Click, clack. All right, here we go as we go to Denver, where a tractor trailer leads over a dozen cop cars on a high-speed chase. Meanwhile, Boston woman is a millionaire after bank put her money in the wrong place. To Texas, where a mom on way to hospital to give birth makes a stop at Chick-fil-A. Uber and Lyft suspend driver who live streams passengers for most of the day. And an angry ex-lover sends the husband revenge porn and then tries to run over lover with his car. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, any parent out there, they want their kids to grow up, get a job, get the hell out of the house, and make their own money. So how fortunate, then, that last week a child was born in the bathroom stall of a Chick-fil-A. That's right. They were lucky because as a result, Chick-fil-A has offered that kid not only food for life, more importantly, that kid has a standing job offer. As soon as they're old enough to work, Chick-fil-A says they will hire this kid, no questions asked. All right, so no matter what, those parents know their kid can get a job and make their own money. Now, it may not seem ideal to deliver a baby in a public toilet, but think of the money they saved. All right? It's no secret that medical expenses in the U.S. are outrageous. People are starting to call Uber instead of an ambulance. And do you know why?
Because it's cheaper.
Well, the average savings miles is $2,692.
What a bargain.
To get to the same place. Now, in Las Vegas, a family, they're freaking out because they were charged. How much do you think they were charged as they looked at their itemized medical bill for using a sink? This is literally what they put on their medical bill, for using a sink. Did you guess $800? Because guess what? Apparently, $800 for using the sink in the emergency room at the hospital in Las Vegas. And that's a lot of money. Why not save that money? See, if you save money, then you can do something stupid with your money. Like, I don't know, buy a $600,000 Lamborghini. That's what a guy did in Florida. He was so proud of his purchase in his car that he drives into a public place, honking his horn, flashing his lights. Obviously, the crowd's looking at it. Then he gets out of the car, and in spite of it being $600,000, he jumps on the hood of his car. He wants the world to know that it's his. But karma caught up because he also ended up putting his foot through the windshield. Yeah, in front of everybody. And as you might imagine, the crowd really, really enjoyed that. These are just some of the stories we've seen that have left us with many questions. Questions we'd like to ask you in the form of the random question, and this is how it works. You call us, we will ask you a question at complete random. And after you share your answer, we'll share with you the news story that inspired said question.
Be part of the random question. Call 844-999-OLA. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at mensroomlive.com. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Hold the Cholos, and away we go. Welcome to show number 2,868 with the largest in charge program we have for you today. As the return of the word has more American slang than people from around the world, well, they don't understand. There's 50-some English-speaking countries around the world. 50-some English-speaking predominant countries.
And United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, England, Scotland, Ireland.
You can keep on going. Yeah.
I am done.
Few in Africa. I think South Africa might technically be one to some degree.
All right.
Scotland, Wales.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot Wales. So that's
Tasmania. All kinds of little pocketed ones.
New Zealand.
I got that one. Yeah, all right, I'll go to Tasmania. Tasmania.
Either way, there are some there's some American slang there where if you came from another country and you spoke English, you wouldn't be able to identify or understand what the hell we here as Americans are talking about. So the word has more American slang on the way. Your guess is as good as mine. The categories, as it was just a few weeks ago, the Nathan's hot dog thing was going on. It was National Hot Dog Day not too long ago. So our categories today are hot dogs and hamburgers, and they have to deal with
two separate categories.
Yeah, the way we have to way we like to enjoy those two things. So that's coming up with Your Guess Is As Good As Mine.
There was a conversation yesterday at one point. The kids decided they wanted lunch. First they didn't want lunch, and in the end they had essentially eating all of the hot dogs. But we have hot dogs, and they put ketchup on mine. I put mustard on mine. And they are revolted by me putting, like, ew, that's so gross. And I'm just looking at them like, I don't even know who you people are.
I think
that you slap ketchup on a hot dog to me is blasphemous.
It's also the child years of eating a hot dog.
I know.
You know, that's when people eat ketchup on hot dogs is when they're kids.
Ketchup is an everything.
Ketchup on my hot dog.
You're a disgrace to humanity.
Mustard, but
yeah.
Okay, at least you put mustard. They were disgusted, and the thing is, like, so they'll eat like half a hot dog, and typically you'll finish their meal for them. But with that, like, I do not want that disgraceful thing on your plate.
Hot dogs and hamburgers with Your Guess Is As Good As Mine. Another round of Profile This on the way. And we'll drink a toast with a shot of the day. And as we do, it's Random Question Day. 844-999-HOLA.
Random.
Hello,
random,
Stephen.
random,
Welcome to the men's room.
Random.
Hola.
Random.
All right, Stephen, let's go this one. Who have you tried to impress by showing off? And then what happened? Did it work for you? Did it not work for you? I mean, was it a good thing that you did it? I mean, let's face it. When that guy goes down the road and that bass is thumping, you just know the women are losing their minds. They're going, oh, my God, I just wish my man had that much bass.
But to be fair, we have all tried to impress women, and nothing I have ever done has worked.
I have a subwoofer on my scooter. Just so they know that I am the SNIT. You know what I mean? Hello.
Yep.
Okay. So what did you do to show off to try to impress someone?
I have a few. The one that hurt me the worst, though, is went out to a bar, a couple of nice gals, and I had a couple in me, empty parking lot. Unfortunately, it had rained, and it got low enough to be freezing. Peeled out, hit the curb, completely destroyed my front wheel.
Oh. What kind of car did you have?
I have a VW Jetta.
All right. Okay. So not exactly a race car at the time.
Right, but still.
I mean, you're already fighting the odds pulling out in a Jetta. Not that that's not a nice car. It is. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, this kind of plays into it a little bit. And this deals with a car as well, and you brought it up briefly there. But I believe we go to Key West there, Robin. You spent a little time in Key West there. That's not a place of crazy people at all, is it? Key West is where normal people are. Key West is crazy for Florida. Think about that for a minute.
But isn't it just kind of lawless? But everyone, it doesn't mean people are more reckless than they are dangerous. If you know what I mean?
You can meet like a real pirate there. They'd be like, yeah, I'm a pirate.
No, like literally, dude.
You know, I just get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, troll my boat, pick up bales of weed and coke, and, you know, take money from people.
Yeah, I'd still rather deal with the craziness of Key West, though, than, like, the craziness of, like, people that live in Orlando or, like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
100, and that's what I mean.
They're just weird towns in the middle of that state.
It's like it's lawless, but everyone respects that it's lawless, and to avoid bringing the authorities in, no one does anything too stupid.
I think you can take a one
It's kind of
step-
like drinking
Look.
with your buddies in your parents' basement. So your parents kind of make that rule like, look, We know what you're doing, and as long as no one pukes on the floor, does anything stupid, we're not going to ruin the party. In Key West, I think they're like, look, the authorities don't bother with us. Don't do anything stupid.
I also think that Ted's right about it. If you live in the middle of the state of Florida, because one of the advantages, obviously, to being in Florida is the fact that you're living near the beach, and you need to take advantage of that because that's one of the perks you get for living in Florida, because there's a lot of things that aren't very
that's
perky.
the perk.
That is the perk. So if you're in the middle of the state, it gets hot. It gets incredibly humid. There's no breeze moving, so it's muggy. You sweat. The water that's fresh water, you can't use it. There's alligators in it. You can't go swimming.
Snakes.
Even if you have a pool, correct?
Right. The weird stuff that lives in Florida.
You have to check your pool before you go jumping in. You can't just run in at night and jump in your pool and in the backyard.
I knew a lady that lived in Orlando, and like a lot of the pools there, now granted, she had a little more money, but most of the pools they're like screened in.
Yeah.
So critters.
And it's something I've always wondered. Maybe you know, Miles, you have family there. How is it the chlorine does not seem to affect the gators? Because a lot of they just dive into people's
I think they're basic. I think they're
there.
leather, man. I think they're luggage. They don't care.
It just doesn't matter.
I think they have body armor, like an armadillo. Like everything. That's a regular rat. A rat in Florida is an armadillo. Like everything's built like a like a Humvee. So the driver was filmed. Showing off his $300,000 Lamborghini.
No, 300,000 pound.
What's the difference? Isn't a pound close to $1? Is that more than $1? I
want to say it's almost 2 to 1, like $1.50. So
all right.
Either way, he spent like $450,000 to $600,000.
I thought that was done. I thought that it was just the euro. I guess not.
I think
anyway,
England stuck with the pound.
He familiar with Brexit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good call.
Rhymes with exit.
He received instant karma, as they say, as the supercar's windscreen smashed beneath him. Footage shows the moment the man jumps out of his flashy vehicle to pose for a watching crowd at a motor rally. He can be seen jumping onto the hood before his foot immediately smashes the windscreen, sending splinters of glass shooting throughout the car. A woman who was leaning out the passenger window at the time looked seriously unimpressed by the driver's antics. Here he is, getting ready to jump on. There he does it, and as you see, the windshield is completely broken and cracked. However, the crowd seemed to scream with delight. They thought this was hysterical. Undetermined, the man jumped back onto the vehicle and loudly then revved the engine once he got off, headlights flashing, and he basically drove away like nothing happened, even though he cracked the windshield.
By the way, a couple of things as far as impressing someone. It says back in high school, 80s, went putt-putt golfing. With my girlfriend, stood by as she was playing, twirling my golf club. Bam! Hit myself in the face, broke out 2 of my teeth.
Ooh.
And then someone adds, I said, how come chlorine doesn't affect alligators? This is the quote. Same reason it doesn't affect us, dip ass. They breathe oxygen.
Well, he's got a point.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Just a question. It's like being in school again.
There's no dumb questions. Oh, I beg to differ.
Question from Dip S in the back.
Right.
Hello, Madison. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
Madison, are you a drinker?
I am not.
Okay, I'll skip that one.
Is that by choice? By recommendation of the doctors?
I just don't like the taste of alcohol.
Okay.
All right. Let's go with this one. I like this one. What, Madison, since you're sober, most of the time apparently.
We don't know that part, just not booze.
What artists can you honestly not stand? Like when you hear them, when they come on the radio, if you go to the grocery store and they're on, wherever the hell it is, and your people are having a party, who is it that just drives you nuts?
Oh. Probably the one I hear the most about is Kanye West.
You don't like Kanye West?
He's annoying.
Well, I don't think anyone likes Kanye West, but as far as his music goes, I mean, to be honest with you, unless it's one of his hit songs, I wouldn't know if it's him or anybody else.
He changes what he does so much, I would think that it would take me a little while to be able to identify a newer Kanye song. Because it's going to be different than his last album.
Which is good. I like that. I can respect that. But, I mean, as a person, I don't like him. Musically, I'm indifferent to him. He has some moments.
Mm-hmm. Is there anybody that you just absolutely cringe when you hear them? Like I can't take this?
Music?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Well, that was the question for you initially, and you said Kanye West. So do you not like him, as Steve said, as a person, or do you not like his music?
I don't like either, but, I mean, like you guys said, could I even identify his music if I heard it at this point?
Okay, how about what would you hate if you could identify? Like you're like, oh, God, it's Madonna, or oh, my God, this is, somebody who...
Yeah, like something you would hear.
I like that you're current. I mean, because, like, for me, it used to be Poison, but I don't hear them enough for them to be a problem anymore. But who's it, Nicki Minaj? Was it last summer maybe? She was... whatever album they put out, man, they were playing a lot. However, my kids love her, right? So, and
Last summer was Cardi Summer.
Whatever. All I know,
they're very similar.
There were 2 or 3 songs that I heard from Nicki Minaj, and I didn't know. My daughter, of course, huffs at me and puts her hands on her. It's Nicki Minaj, and I'm like, this is the worst S I've ever heard, man. I don't understand any appeal to it.
Mine is Taylor Swift.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like her, and my daughter loves her, so I'm privileged to hear the occasional song.
Sure.
I don't like her, but it's so vanilla. It just it's almost meaningless. It's almost like it's not on.
Okay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and maybe it's just because of I've been around too many drunk girls just screaming with it. Same reason with I like Mariah Carey. I like Christmas music. I can't stand her Christmas song.
Wait, why?
Because I feel like every girl I've ever frickin' known or gone on even a date with, somehow it's been that's my favorite Christmas song. So now it's just kind of ruined.
So other people, because I was going to say, this is a woman, you've always stood by her as far as defending what she does. You stand by Christmas music. So here's this artist you liked on a Christmas song, but other people have ruined it just because they like it.
I think, man, I think
we all have names you don't like anymore. I used to like that name, but I think of this person, F it.
I truly believe that, I think anymore, there's 2 things that trigger me. First of all, Christmas music and Irish music. I can't take either one. In all forms.
Irish
except with
music,
the exception
I can
of
enjoy.
maybe a U2 song every once in a while.
They're not Irish music. They're a band,
I know, they're
from,
a band
Ireland.
from Ireland.
Right.
I understand that. I don't consider the Dropkick Murphys to be traditional.
No, they're just from Ireland.
Right.
Irish music, I can kind of dig.
I think the Dropkick Murphys are just from Boston.
Yeah, but they have that Irish sound to them. To my mind,
hey,
it's
man,
it's almost like saying that the 3 tenors are, you know what I mean, not Italian.
Ask Everlast, he's going to tell you he's Irish, right? Dude, you're from Boston. But that said, there's something about Irish music. I don't like it, but it makes me think of a good time drinking. Even if they're singing some sad-ass song, you hear it, it's because listen, one thing you need to know about Miles, and it took me a while to stop getting annoyed by this, and it turns out his theory is correct. This mofo will put on an AM radio station just to hear the Mexican music. Right. You have no idea what they're saying.
None.
The songs never really stop. At some point, you realize you're now listening to a different song, but they're kind of the original DJs as far as mixing it together. And Miles is in the best mood ever. I'm turn this crap up. But then after a while, I realized, man, keep it on this channel. Yeah. I'm in a great mood.
I love the production on the radio because it's just so over the top, and there's the slap that goes numero uno.
Right. Everything is over the top.
The reason we asked, what artists can you honestly not stand? We go to Southern California. And the Rite Aid stores were having a problem, as they say, quote, keeping vagrants and beggars away during store hours. So they began to pump a certain artist that they found drove their, quote, vagrant and beggars away. Any idea who the artist was, who now they're actually exploring ways to maybe use this in other stores, a, quote, potential rollout of this artist to similar places that have similar problems?
I saw this article, but I will say, Ted, as a hint, in the 70s, in particular, this guy was massive, did decent in the 80s, and there's a very, very good chance that your mother loves him.
Oh, not only that, but if we went to a gay...
I first thought it was going to be Kenny G.
If we went to a gay club, it would be within an hour. We'd hear one...
Easily.
One in rotation, much like Cher.
Barry
Manilow, you know it. Only because of the coca. I don't think that the gay clubs play weekend in New England. Customers have started to notice songs like Copacabana and Mandy playing outside the popular drugstores when they arrive to shop. And now Rite Aid officials have confirmed they are trying to drive the homeless away by playing Barry Manilow. According to the Wall Street Journal, who interviewed the Rite Aid, we are in the early stages of exploring this approach to using Manilow and have not made any decision about a potential rollout to the additional stores. Barry Manilow.
I mean, dude, one of the neighborhoods I lived in, they did it for years. This one building, I was always like, why do they just blare classical music? But then you realize, nobody hangs out under their overhang.
Oh, classical music, I can see that.
Super, super effective. As far as artists you can't stand, some of the comments that came in, it says, I can't stand the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Miley Cyrus, Carrie Underwood, the new originals, thank you, Kanye West, Taylor Swift, Nickelback, Green Day, and then someone says, what's your take on polka music? Polka music is absolutely freaking ridiculous, but people that like polka love it so much you can't hate it. I don't ever want to hear it, but I am happy when polka lovers hear the ridiculous ass music.
You know what? I think anymore, Christmas music as well, because it's just too early. It's not that I don't like Christmas music. I do like Christmas music at times in the right place.
When?
Well, in the right times, in the right place. Like if it's close to Christmas and you're at the mall. Yeah, but they play it right after. I think the earlier they start doing this, the more it's just like I notice the fact that it's being played earlier. So instead of enjoying the music, I'm more just offended by the fact that it's still in October.
Okay.
You know
listen,
what I mean? Or whatever
I
the hell it
agree. Much like Ted with eggnog, I feel very strongly about when you can start your Christmas music. But that said, I don't like it any more or less. It's something I don't like for longer. But there was never a point where I'm like, cool.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love
music.
Christmas music.
I know
but
you do.
even for me, like, I don't want to start singing it in November.
See, that's the other problem with Christmas songs. They get stuck in your head. And I'm like, God damn it, if I sing like a drummer boy one more time.
And I haven't even had Thanksgiving turkey yet.
Right, still in the oven.
I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, let Thanksgiving, right, I agree. Well, the other problem is, too, is even as an adult, I can't get that excited for 2 months.
Right,
the
man.
waiting is just brutal.
as a kid, sure. As an adult.
Because the presents aren't as good as they used to be when you were a kid. When you're a kid, you got really good stuff. You got hooked up, hopefully, right?
Well,
I mean, better than you do when you're an adult. When you're an adult, you're like, oh, thank you. That's very nice.
Well, it's all the money you would spend on yourself, you spend on the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Hello, Taylor. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and horse.
Liquor and whores. All right, this is a good one. Taylor, let's go this. In a MacGyver kind of way, maybe not. What have you learned from watching television or a movie? What subtle thing have you taken? There's some lesson, I'm sure. Hell, even there was a genre there where most TV shows ended in a lesson. Cosby Show always ended in a lesson to teach you something positive.
I think maybe we should update, just go with G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, always positive.
I was just making this comment to a coworker. My kids started watching Sonic, the cartoon from the 80s, right? It's on Nickelodeon.
All right.
And I forgot that I guess most cartoons don't do this now. And even though it's an insufferably terrible cartoon, at the end of it, Sonic pops on to leave some good positive message for the kids. And I have to give him credit. I'm like, all right, man. Yeah, you heard what he said about sharing? Do that. You want to listen to me? Listen to that blue mofo. I stated a little better than that.
You learn anything from a movie or TV?
I did. I wouldn't necessarily say it was like positive, but for me at the time it was.
Okay.
The Upper Decker. I was at a party, and
This
the
is
person
perfect.
who owned the party was like not cool at all. Drank all my alcohol, and I mean, yeah, it's your house, have some, but like I didn't even get any, so I, did what any rude 22-year-old would do, and I upper decked him good.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's a good one.
That's what he...
The reason we asked, what have you learned from watching television or a movie? Celebrities often hear fans say, your work saved my life. But at Comic-Con, Jamie Lee Curtis heard from a guy who meant it literally. They were doing a panel for Halloween, and it's 40 years since Jamie starred in that one as the original Laurie Strode, and 20 years since she returned to the franchise for Halloween H2O. Either way, Guy told the story of how he was once in a situation where a man entered his house with a knife. He said, quote, the thought came to my mind, what would Jamie Lee Curtis do? What he did was grab some knitting needles, just like Jamie does in the movie, but he didn't stab the guy like Jamie does in the movie. He was able to run outside and scream for help, like Jamie does in the movie. He teared up and he told her, quote, I'm here today because of you. I'm a victor instead of a victim. You're the only reason I came to Comic-Con. Jamie came down and gave him a hug.
I would have never thought to run outside and scream for help.
With knitting needles in your hand. Help me, help me! Before I make you a beautiful scarf and gloves. Random question, 844-999-OLA. More calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bitches. You're listening to the Men's Room.
Coming up with Trigger Toast for the shot of the day. Your guess is as good as mine in categories today. Hot dogs and hamburgers. We will take it to the grill on Your Guess is as good as mine.
Random.
It is our random question, 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Aubrey. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Good afternoon.
Hola. Hello, Aubrey. How are you?
I am doing well.
Wonderful. Okay, let's see here. All right, let's go with this one. When you were growing up there, did you believe the Ouija board when you played it? Or were you too freaked out to even put your hands on the board itself?
I did not even know what a Ouija board was until I was an adult or older to not even be worried about it.
Okay,
I
really?
didn't even know what it was as a kid.
So yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I think as a rational adult, you say, this is bullcrap.
Well, sure.
When you're 13 years old and you know what I mean, it's dark and you're hanging out at a sleep out and hanging with your friends, a Ouija board after you've watched a couple horror movies could be possibly terrifying, right?
Yeah, we were little kids and my parents bought us. We played with the neighborhood kids. They were around when my mom was a kid. I'm not sure when they were released, but my grandmother apparently took it away from my mother because her younger brother, my Uncle Rick, would always try to sneak up on her and her friend when they were doing anything. So when they knew he was around the corner, they'd do the Ouija board. And as an example of what they would do, my mother said they would act like they didn't know Rick was there, and they'd be like, "Is Rick going to die?" Right? So, but the thing is, it would slide to yes, but then she would say, "When?" And it would always say, "Soon." And it would freak him out, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because somebody's always moving it.
Well,
Yeah, someone's manipulating.
Otherwise, yes, we sell gateways to the spirit world to children.
Mm-hmm. Well, the reason we asked, do you believe the Ouija board? And they say, ironically enough, remember that slumber party when you were a kid where someone whips out the Ouija board? It spelled out some random stuff, and then you took turns accusing each other of pushing the thing to affect the results. Well, it turns out you were all guilty. A new study showed, as far as eye tracking goes, the people who are using a Ouija board, researchers found that, everyone is pushing it to exactly where they want it to be. So sorry to ruin your first experience, but you're really not talking to the spirit world, apparently.
It scared the crap out of me. I remember being like, get it out of the house.
Well, sure. I mean, like, if you're young, it makes sense that this thing is evil, But it's like, come on, man. I think Parker Brothers own the rights to it. So it's like, you think Parker Brothers, in addition to the game Clue, or so, we're also like, and open up the gateway to the afterlife.
And it was always, but it wasn't the happy gateway to the afterlife. And from what my recollection was, it was always like the hell end of it.
Oh, yeah, it was always bad.
This was not like, hey, let's go to church and play with the Ouija board. I mean, like, that was like the opposite.
You never found, if you grew up religious. There was like something
evil
satanic about it.
Well, sure. I mean, they thought, hey, man, there's evil spirits everywhere. And you never got like a hold of your great old Aunt Edith. So it was like, I'm a demon and I've been here for eternity. Like, cool, let's ask him more questions.
Eat your soul.
Random.
Hello.
No.
Hello, Jared. Welcome to the men's room. Liquor and whores.
All right, Jared.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Let's go this one. What was in your backyard?
What is or was in my backyard?
We'll take either. What is or was in your backyard? What did you find there? What do you have there? What was in your backyard?
I don't know. Beat up, rusted out Cadillac once.
You have a beat out, rusted up Cadillac in your backyard?
So it wasn't my backyard. It was my step grandparents, and they just have like a trailer and then big open field behind them, all overgrown. And that was one of the things we tripped over was this old rusted out Cadillac when we were out there playing.
Well, at least they had the decency to put it in the backyard.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've lived beside the people who just line up the cars in the front yard, and when they're done, they die right there.
Why do they never have one? Why is it that as soon as you put one rusted out car in the front yard, it seems to open the gateway to about six more? And none of them run.
I always want to blow one of their minds and just walk up to go, like, you can trade a car in. And I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You can actually trade your car in for a new one. What?
You don't have to keep it.
Right? What do you mean? I've never heard of this.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.